Hi, my name is Julia Silge, and I'm a data scientist and engineering manager working at Posit, where I work on our new next generation data science IDE, Positron. And there's a new monthly release of Positron out, and it has a complete revamp of how GitHub Copilot integrates with Positron Assistant, which is Positron's AI coding assistant that's built specifically for data science workflows. If you were logged in to GitHub Copilot before, what you need to do is log out and then back in to get to take advantage of this new integration. I'm really excited about the way this played out because it solves tons of problems around authentication, especially in more complex environments like remote SSH and similar. So really great news that we have this new integration here. And so in this screencast, what I want to walk you through is exactly how you go about setting up Positron Assistant to use with GitHub Copilot as your model provider, as kind of like the back end for how you can, like, who is providing the LLM API so that you can get that AI coding assistance. So we'll walk through how to authenticate, how to set it up, and then we'll do a real brief exploratory data analysis using last week's Tidy Tuesday dataset about African languages. Let's get started.
All right, so here we are with a very fresh installation of Positron. I blew away like all my state that I could, so that we can really walk through what a fresh experience looked like to log in and to enable Positron Assistant and log into GitHub Copilot. So I here basically the only thing I've done, like there's no files or anything in this project. The only thing I did was make a virtual environment. So I did that ahead of time, and I installed a few packages into it that I knew that I wanted to use. So that's pretty much it. That's all I've done here so far. Okay, so I want to use Positron Assistant here. So let me go over to this activity bar and highlight a few things that you can get to over here. So this is where you can get to GitHub. This is not a Git project, so there's nothing there. This is where you see your files. This is pretty much empty. There's nothing here. So this one right here, the friendly robot, this is the pane for Positron Assistant. And by default, it's not turned on. Like things are not turned on here. So I need to go over here to Positron Assistant Enable. And then I click here and then it says, okay, great. Now it is in fact enabled. So if I go back over now, so now it's on, but I'm still not set up with a model provider. So I still need to do that. So if I come here, I'll click Add Language Model Provider. There's two here by the default. There are other options like OpenAI and whatnot that you can also opt into, but these are two that a lot of people use. So these are the ones that are here by default right now. So if I come here to Copilot and I say I want to set this up, I say sign in here. So I'll say sign in. It gives me a code. If I say copy the code, I go over here to my browser, I say yes, continue, I paste in the code, I say continue, and then I will say I authorize here. So it's like, okay, I'm all set now, and it is getting the information back to Positron, and it says, okay, Positron needs to reload to finish setting up GitHub Copilot. So I'm going to do that, reload the whole thing here. And now I get a lot more information here because I am now authenticated. It is now on. When I started here, I was like in the side-by-side layout. When I'm using Assistant, I do actually like this. I like this assistant kind of layout. Like if you go over here, you can choose between these different ones. And what assistant gets you is kind of like a third, like a third for your assistant setup here, a third for your console where you can run code interactively, and then kind of a third over here for variables and plots and other things that are over here. Okay, great. So I'm authenticated now. If I wanted to, now that I'm authenticated to GitHub, I could do some other things like grant access to the pull request extension and all that kind of thing. I won't do that right now. Let's just think about Assistant. So assistant here, I am currently in agent mode, which is a mode where it lets it have more freedom to run code and see the inputs and outputs. I could also instead use ask mode, which is more like a chat pane, where you just want to ask questions of the large language model. Or edit is more about I want to edit the files in my workspace here. So I'm going to leave it in agent mode because I'm about to do something a little, very, very light EDA here. Also, I can choose what model I want here. So this is the default of what happens here. I could, choose a more powerful one of the GPT models. I'm going to actually go up here to the most expensive thing here. So Claude Opus 4.5, which is a very powerful model that I and everyone else basically is having really good experiences with here at the moment when I am recording this. I'm sure this will all be different 1 month later. But anyway, I'm going to choose this right now. Okay, so before we started, I was not authenticated. I was not set up, and now I am. Now I am authenticated, and I can ask questions here, and it will go forward. Let's say I'm going to run a little bit of code in the console here. So I'm going to say Seaborn. So when I run this code the way that I just have, this is now in the console session. And when it says it has this little I here and in the context, it says it knows about the console. That means it knows about what is happening in the interpreter here. So you can configure this, turn this off and on and whatnot, but that's what this means. So now if I were to ask something let's see if it does it. What Python packages are loaded in my console session. Let's see if it can figure this out. So it correctly identifies what is, so it's able to use the session information here. Okay, great. So maybe that'll help it generate code that I actually want it to, which is using polars and Seaborn in this case. So I have a CSV at this URL that I want to read in. Great, so let's see what it decides to do here. So it is going to, it's decided, I'm going to read CSV from URL into polars here. It has this example code, and notice this little dialog it gives me. It says run code, so if I click it one time, it will just run it, but I actually have some options here, like allow in this session, allow in this workspace, always allow. And so if I say allow in this session, that means it is not going to ask me every single time it wants to write code and run code. So, that may or may not be appropriate in your use case, but here that's what I'm going to do. I am going to let it run code on my behalf in the console here. So the data is now loaded. Here's maybe, and now if I say, can you give me a summary of this data set? Like this. Let's see what it decides to do here. Okay, so it's saying use get table summary. So use get table summary is a tool call. So when it's looking here, it's how many unique languages how many language families are there? What is the min, max, medium, etc. So and it's trying to make trying to tell me some stuff here, the fact that there's such a big difference between the mean and the median means, we have this big skew, right? Here. So that is what it was able to get using the tool. So the tool call, this particular tool call is basically effectively equivalent to the information I, as a human user, can see when I look at the Data Explorer. So in this view here. So here it says language family, 17 unique values, and it's here are the 17 unique values. So tool calls are what allow an agentic AI thing like Positron Assistant to be able to do the things you want it to do, not sort of run a bunch of Python code to get this information, or worse, to hallucinate it, but to rather use tool calls so that it can interact with the real world, which in this case is like this real data set here. If you can configure what tools are available to the AI assistant by clicking these little tool icons down here. So the one that it just used was get table summary right here. So that is, and there's a lot of tools that it has available, and some of them are like if I was using R, it can get R help, like all that kind of thing. Okay, so that's a little bit about tools. All right, so let's just do a very brief exploratory data analysis kind of thing here. So let's say, I want to make a plot comparing native speakers to language family. All right, so let's see what it decides to do here. It is, it used plot 9, and then it tried to run it, and I say, and I'm like, nope. So I'm going to say, I want to use Seaborn for my plots. And let's see what it tries to do now. Okay, so now it used Seaborn's box plot here, and it made a plot. Let me just pop it open so we can kind of see what it looks like here. So as we looked at that data set, you could tell that it was one row per country and language. And so that means we have, for any language, we actually have a bunch of values for native speakers. So this is interesting because it tells me, the distribution of native speakers per country. But I think I want to, make a different plot. This is a real plot. It is not an invalid plot, but I want to make a different one. Okay. It tried to use a tool here. So this is one of these other tools, view the active plot. But actually, the way I have this set up right now, this model and my account are not allowed to do vision requests. So the model, Positron Assistant decided, I want to send this model to the back end, to the LLM, and get a description or tell me something about it. But it failed because actually the model provider, I am not able to do vision. Like, it's not able to look at images. That's not a limitation of Copilot or Positron Assistant, but rather my account right now that I am using here right now. It doesn't have it turned on. I could probably go do that, but I will not. It's helpful to see what happens when something fails, and what does it look like? And so it's good for me to, show this failure here. Okay, let's change the plot. I also want to make a plot of total native speakers per language family here. So let's see what it decides to do here. It will, nice. Okay, great. So it's still trying to view my plot, and that is not working. But I want to highlight a few things. So it is just running code. And in some cases, like up here, when it was trying to use plot 9, that led it down a path of I'm going to have to install this. But then I'm like, nope, don't want to do that. I kind of make it go a different direction. So the reason it's running code like this is that I told it was allowed to. So, and there are different ways of configuring how exactly you do that. So here, let's say it's group by family, aggregate, etc., etc. So it made this plot here. Let's pop it up so we can see. So it aggregated here now, and so now we have the total native speaker. I also want to highlight it decided to use a log scale, partly because we looked, I told it to look at that, just to give me a summary of the data, and it noticed that real skew there, and so it's okay, that probably will be good, which is great for it to be able to kind of make that choice there. So this is this distribution. This is the kind of the bucket at the end of all the small things, I think. All right, so now in a real situation, if I were doing some exploratory data analysis, I would want to, some of this would just be for my own knowledge, but then some of it I would want to save. So let's say I'm going to say Quarto new document like this, and let me save it. I'm going to save it as analysis.qmd. I mean, that's very generic, but okay. Okay, so great. Now let's say I want to export the code for these plots to my Quarto file, analysis.qmd. It might be able to just find it, but let me give it a little bit of help to decide what it wants to do. So it found my file. It saw what's in it already. So it's reading the file, and then it's going to decide what to put in here. So let's see. Okay. It's giving me some edits. And notice it kind of gives me this diff view, and I can either keep it or undo it. And I can keep it one by one. So I could keep this, like it's kind of chunked out that way. I'm just going to say keep for all of it. And now it has this code, like the code to read it, native speakers by language family, total native speakers by language family. So that is now in this Quarto file that I could, edit. I could edit on my own. I could edit in partnership with the AI coding tool, or however that tends to play out.
All right, so in this screencast, we showed how to authenticate and set up using GitHub Copilot for Positron Assistant. And then I walked through a little bit of, how you might go about getting started with a new data set for an exploratory analysis using Positron Assistant. So I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you next time.